this is my concern, and this is why I think that Copilot Plus needs to be banned in its current form, because it is a tool for spreading misinformation and non-fact. G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today we're going to have a little talk about Copilot Plus and the reason why I don't think we should be able to use it in its current state. Let's do it. Now, this isn't an anti-AI rant. I understand that AI is going to be a part of our life moving forward, whether we like it or not, and I've definitely found some really handy uses for it. Usually in just little bits of help here and there, nipping and tucking, doing little things just around the edges just to make life a little bit easier. It seems to be doing all right. But in most cases, it's just very gimmicky and not quite where it will end up. I think we can be honest and say that it's going to get a lot better, and that we're in the very infancy of what the AI world is going to be offering us in the future. Now, one of the big pushes during 2024 and into 2025 is Copilot Plus, which is the built-in AI assistant that is available with Windows and has now got a dedicated button for it on most of the laptops that I saw get released from about mid-2024 onwards. And basically, I'm sure most of you have come across it, whether you've used it or not, and Copilot will allow you to basically not go through Google or not go through other means of trying to do things and just be able to ask it to do something, ask for something you want, and you will get AI assistance with it. Now, I've experimented with this a bit. I do a lot of tech content, and you know, it's a big part of the future of tech. So I've been just experimenting with it, just mucking around with it, just going through it a few times just to see what it does. Now, being a journalist, I do a lot of research, not just for this video content I do, but as well as doing this channel, I also write content for a number of magazines and websites that I've been doing that for the best part of 30 years. So I'm constantly fact checking stuff, constantly making sure that my information is right. When I'm going through articles that I've already written, I'll even with data that or statistics where I feel like I know the answer, I'll go check everything off to make sure that basically everything I write is the truth. It has been fact checked, and you know, I'm not misleading anybody. Because I think that the biggest enemy of the future world is misinformation. If it's not already the biggest enemy of the world, it is just way too easy to spread non-truths. And for the most part, that's been done deliberately. You can deliberately spread a mistruth. And it's the nature of my job. In the nature of my job, I've been able to see exactly how you can do that. You know, I've worked for some pretty major companies, massive global international companies, and my sole role is literally to make sure that whatever the opinion is that is being said is seen. Whether that's top of Google ranks or top of YouTube or whatever happens to be, that's what I do. And I could, you know, quite confidently say if I wanted to spread misinformation, I could do a pretty good job at it. But I don't, right? But that's deliberate. And, you know, we've seen that with elections, we've seen that with all kinds of things. We see it with just everyday advertising, right? Misleading or misinformation designed to coerce whoever is looking at that content to think and act in a certain way. Now, where my issue is rising with Copilot Plus is that my experimentation with it, especially from a research perspective, it is just flat out wrong. And it's not trying to deliberately mislead you, it just doesn't know. And I punched in questions that I know the answer of, and he just fed me back information which is incorrect. And I know is incorrect, factually incorrect. Even with sources to places that I know the information is not what Copilot Plus is saying it is. And then presenting it in such a manner that it is fact. And this is dangerous. So this is spreading misinformation, and the fact that it's integrated into the system that we use day to day as our source of truth and all the things that we do in life as a human, you know, is that we will go to the internet and we'll ask for the truth and it will pop up. Now AI is trying to circumnavigate that not just the AI of Copilot Plus, you've obviously got ChatGPT and all those types of things, but you've also got Google now as a top ranking thing is its AI interpretation of what the answer is, which it does by just going through other sites and working out. So it doesn't fact check its source in any way, shape or form, and it seems to be completely outdated and even completely wrong. So as an example, right, the other day I did a video on Nintendo Switch 2, and I was theorizing some of the difficulties I feel like the Switch 2 is going to have in its life based on what Nintendo has shown from the console so far. This is based on my 30 years working in the video games journalism industry. And at one point I was like, I wanted to make some commentary on what Nintendo franchises I think Nintendo needs to announce alongside the launch of the console to basically really drive up that buy-in for the device. So I thought this is a good chance to test Copilot Plus. So I said to Copilot Plus, can you please list the top 20 Nintendo franchises and the last game that was released in each franchise? And the idea was this would be just heaps easier than me going through and just searching all 20 franchises and finding out when the last game was, because my plan was to just see if I could find out which franchises hadn't seen a new entry for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years or something like that, that have sold really well and will have that kind of brand IP power. Now I pretty much already knew the answer to my question, because I write about games every single day. And I just wanted to see what it spat out. And it came back and it was just flat out wrong. It was saying that the last game that Mario released was Super Mario Odyssey. It was saying that the last Zelda game was Breath of the Wild. There's been 2 Zelda games since then, like big new Zelda games, not remakes and stuff. Like there's Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom that came out in the last, less than 2 years. So the information was just wrong. And I kind of said to Copilot Plus, I said, can you go, where did you get this from? What did you do to fact check? Oh, I didn't fact check here, I'll try again. Still wrong. And I said, why don't you just go check, this site or that site? And I said, oh yeah, I did check those sites and they were still wrong. I've had this happen heaps and heaps of times now, that the information it just spits out is just wrong. That's just one example. Like a handy thing, for example, is I might be doing a piece on, some coffee machines, a video on some coffee machines. And I thought, look, I said, can you just list me all the high level specs of the DeLonghi Rivolier or whatever it was that I was reviewing. It was the Aletta Explorer actually. And I set out some specs. Now I'd already gone through this because I'd already written the script, filmed the video, whatever. I was basically just trying to get out of having to rewrite it, in the image description for the video. That's all I was trying to achieve. I thought, great use of the AI here. It can just write it for me. I can go through, edit it slightly, and it's done. I'm not asking it for an opinion. I'm not asking it to, write a story for me. I'm just asking for it to just list it for me. Anyway, and it spat out this stuff, and I went, well, that's wrong. I know that's wrong. I already know, the weight was wrong, something else was wrong, the number of grinding settings it had. I said, I know this is all wrong. And I'm looking at it where it's checking the facts and it's going to weird places like the FAQ on the DeLonghi website and everything like that. And I'm saying, where'd you cross-check this? And it's like, oh, I didn't cross-check it. Basically, I'm sorry. It says all this really polite stuff. But basically just doesn't do what you're asking it to do. And this just keeps on happening. The other day, what happened the other day? I was reading an article and it said 4-time Oscar nominee Brad Pitt, blah, 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 blah. And I went, oh, it's really Brad Pitt been awarded for 4 Oscars. And it just basically popped into my brain, oh, this could be another test for Copilot. So it said, can you please list the 4 movies that Brad Pitt's done that got Oscar nominations? And I went, yep, sure, listed the 4. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. As soon as I listed the 4, I went, oh yeah, I get it now, that's why. And then I was like, oh, can you please list all the Academy, the actors who have had the most Academy Award nominations, 1 to 20, Can you just list those? Can't remember the exact prompt, but that's what I asked it to do. And it came back and it came up with this list, and it was kind of jumbled, right? So it had something on 6 nominations, someone on 10 nominations, someone on, it was listed, and I said, oh, can you order those? And so then it put them into an order. And then all of a sudden, even though I saw in the previous list it had 3 or 4 actors which it put 6 nominations against, when I asked it to order the list, none of them had 6 nominations. And I was like, look, you just offered 6 nominations. You said that this guy had 6, this guy had 6. Oh yeah, I was wrong. Or just, anyway, you get my point. So my concern is that since I have almost every single time that I've used Copilot Plus, just to kind of shortcut something or make something a little bit easier, it's been factually incorrect. And I'm just thankful that every time I've done it from a position of already knowing the answer and just trying to basically streamline the process. And I've been able to go straight away, well, that's wrong. Now, most people are probably not going to be in that position. They're probably not going to have already done the research or use the product or shot a video and written a script like I have. So this is my concern, and this is why I think that Copilot Plus needs to be banned in its current form, because it is a tool for spreading misinformation and non-fact, which is just going to be perpetrated over and over again by more and more websites who are going to basically shortcut stuff, especially kind of the SEO websites and that people are just making listicles and not doing anything hands-on, who are just trying to basically flood the internet with content that SEO research tools, which are in themselves out of date, are saying this is what you need to do to be relevant in this subject and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to bore you with all that crap. This is the way that a lot of these places work, right? And they're just going to basically go, someone who's getting paid nowhere near enough money to write the article is going to go and put it into Copilot Plus, spit out the information, not even pick up on the fact that it's factually incorrect in multiple places, pump that out, and the next time the AI tool goes to scrape the internet to find an answer to a similar question from someone else, it's going to find the same thing that's been regurgitated by its own mistakes in the first place, and it's just going to completely and constantly reiterate factual incorrect information until everything's really incorrect, right? So until they can make sure that it is factually correct, and if it's not factual, I said to Copilot Plus, I don't know what's any point in saying to it, say, if you don't know the answer, don't give me one. Don't just make something up, which is what it was doing. It was literally on many occasions just trying to basically do its best version of what it thought the answer was without even linking to any sources. It didn't know. And when I questioned it on that, it just kind of said, oh yeah, literally just said, I didn't make it, I just made it up. So obviously this is a cautionary tale. Don't even use it for research, period. In fact, don't use it for anything that isn't just a slight help or just a interesting, I don't know, you know, like if you're just trying to work out something like what time does this movie start, you know, something that's just not going to change the world. Definitely do not use it as a research tool. Definitely do not let your kids anywhere near it. Definitely don't let any school kids use it in any way, shape or form for anything that they're doing. And basically just don't even use it as a tool for any sort of information gathering whatsoever, because it is just too commonly incorrect. And in my opinion, it should be banned right now and not used and not become the norm and given a chance to spread information any further than it already has. And like I said, I'm not saying this from a position of an AI hater. I'm not saying for someone from a position who thinks that AI should never happen and that we should get rid of it altogether. I just don't think it's there yet in a place where it can be correct enough of the time to be released. I think in most industries, if you release something that was dangerous, it would be recalled. And in my opinion, Copilot is dangerous and it should be recalled. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Copilot Plus as it stands at the start of 2025. I look forward to shooting another one of these videos in the future where I can happily say that such errors have been eradicated, but it's going to be quite a while, I think, before that happens. All right, I'm Chris Stead. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'll check you later. You.